turning into a shootout, but in Rams fashion, I'd never expect to see them in a full game shootout again. It'll only be one half because Wade Phillips is a god at halftime adjustments. But I'm going to go with 24-17. I think this is a win for the Rams in what should be a pretty good game. What about you?
I think it's going to be exactly like that. I think it's going to be a close competition. And the first half, I think that it's going to take a little bit of adjustment in halftime for Phillips. I'd even say that you might see even 2 touchdowns in the first half for the San Diego. Let's get that straight there. Los Angeles Chargers. I will say that's about it. I think the Rams, once they adjust, they will contain the Chargers, and this will turn out to be in the Rams' favor in the second half, and they end up winning 38-14.
Whew! That's a hot prediction. I like it, man. If we blow out the Chargers, that would be something else, because this is a damn good football team out in LA, next door in LA, I guess. Do you think they changed the fight song? San Diego Superchargers? Do you think they still play it? Or do you think they just kind of got rid of it?
Maybe they do, and then like they do like one of those voiceovers where it's like you could tell it's not the same person in the background, and they have like a completely different person doing Los Angeles.
All right, well, you heard it here first. We both got them going 3-0. And we're going to hit a quick Fantasy 5 here in a second. But before we do, guys, there's never a bad time to take care of your pool if you're out in Southern California. If you want to remodel your pool, resurface your pool, or if this is making you feel left out and you want a pool, you should check out Jayhawk Pool Plastering Remodeling at 4780 East Wesley Avenue in Anaheim, California. Shout out to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim out there. Jayhawk Pool Plastering Remodeling serves the Orange County in the Southland. It is run by Jayhawk, the eldest son of former Ram John Hawk and the brother of Jim Hawk. He built his business on a mantra of fantastic results and amazing customer service. Just head on over his website if you want to see more at jayhawkpools.com. Take a look at the work. You'll see quality finishes, and you'll see testimonies provided by past customers who are very satisfied with their experience. If you're looking to remodel, resurface, or get a new pool, give Jayhawk a call at 714-695-0700. Again, guys, that's 714-695-0700. You can email him at info@jayhawkpools.com. Guys, this is another great opportunity to support a member of the Ramley, support the podcast, and just better your pool or better your yard. If you live out in the area, give Jayhawk Pool Plastering and Remodeling a call. You will definitely not regret it. All right, we're going to bring back the Fantasy 5 this week, and we're going to start with 2 players who we've already talked about. Now, I alluded to this earlier that the Rams secondary may become must-sit territory for opposing receivers because they don't get Odell Beckham, they don't get Hopkins, they don't get Antonio Brown, and they don't get Julio Jones. And those are really the 4. You're probably not going to bench those guys against anybody. Keenan Allen is one of the top receivers, but he's a hair under those guys. He's going to get a tough matchup against Marcus Peters in the secondary this week. He's got 14 receptions for 175 yards and a touchdown in the first 2 games. Johnny, I want to ask you this. If you were owned Keenan Allen, would you play him?
No. Okay, let me rephrase that. If I don't have any other option, yes. But if I have options, even some that I feel like would get better points, no, I'm going to sit him because I really don't think that Allen is going to get the type of numbers you're kind of accustomed to getting with Allen. So, yeah, I would sit him if I had other options.
It's tough, man. It's real tough. I have a league with Keenan Allen, and my backup receiver is Robert Woods, who yeah, right. So as a Ram fan, it's really tough because I don't think Keenan Allen is going to have that good of a game. But I still think there is a chance that he finds the end zone somehow and saves his day. And it's just really tough to take a guy out that's good, that's that good that you spent a high capital draft pick on. I spent the second rounder on Allen. It was pretty late second rounder, but I mean second rounder nonetheless. It's tough to bench him for a guy like Robert Woods, who he's been good this year, but he hasn't found the end zone. He he could have had a monster day if he connected with Goff on that pass last week. But, Keenan Allen's a much better player, and that's not even disrespecting Robert Woods. I just think Keenan Allen is really good. So I think I'm leaning towards playing him, but if I had a receiver that's a step up from Allen or a running back that I really liked out in the flex that I could bump up somebody, it's tough because we know more than anybody he's going to get eaten alive by that defense. And it really just depends, if you take him out and then he scores, it's double heartbreak for you as a Rams fan. But it's a tough decision, and I think I would lean towards keeping him in unless you had a really solid option, and then I wouldn't hesitate because it's going to be a tough afternoon for him. Another guy we talked about, that's number 2, David Johnson. Again, check my Twitter tomorrow at @Rebeiro if you want to check out my disaster recovery article going over David Johnson and the long-term solutions. And I'll kind of sum it up quick for you guys here. It has to get better. They can't be this bad all year. They have David Johnson, they have Larry Fitzgerald, and they have a quarterback on the bench that might be something. It's not going to get better this week, though. Chicago is a tough matchup. And Johnson, he could save his day with a touchdown. I bet he will score a touchdown, and that's why I'm not going to bench him. But don't expect this to be the week you get the David Johnson you drafted. And you can check out my article for more. You might not get that David Johnson ever this year because the Cardinals are not good. And I think we talked about the Cardinals enough on this podcast. So, number 3 in the Fantasy 5, Josh Gordon to the Patriots. Here's what I want to say about Josh Gordon, who I have been high on, but I thought his draft price was crazy. If you were one of those crazy enough owners to draft him that high, you shouldn't trade him now. This is the best scenario you're going to get is him on the Patriots. Unless somebody offers you something ridiculous, move him. But if you have him, I would keep him, and I would ride this thing out because you drafted Josh Gordon expecting a ride. If he's a free agent, get him. Use top waiver claim on him. Any waiver claim is worth it. Waivers are to be done today, but if he somehow slides through it, pick him up. Absolutely worth grabbing. If you don't own him, I'm not making an offer for him. I mean, he hasn't really done anything. Oh my God.
Hey, Gordon's used to
that. God, I feel like I just talked for 5 minutes straight. My mouth is dry. Anyways, he hasn't done much in 5 years, guys. 2013 was a long time ago. I believe in him, but I'm not making a crazy offer. He could dominate. He could be another guy that goes to the Patriots and doesn't show up, a la Ocho Cinco. Johnny, what are your expectations just for Gordon in general? I'm curious here.
So here's the thing. I initially drafted Gordon. He actually went relatively low in my league. But I ended up cutting him recently, and I'm trying to get him back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the Gordon scenario is kind of a mystery just because the capability that Gordon has. But the thing is Gordon willing to be a responsible person? Not even just a responsible player, but a responsible person. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. But again, he does come to a Tom Brady offense, so I think he's definitely worth having if you can get to him or if you have him. I'm kind of with you where I don't know if I'd trade for him, but I do expect him to have a much better situation than he had in Cleveland. I mean, it's Cleveland.
Yeah, and so for those who don't know, the reason he got cut is because he hurt his hamstring, tweaked it at a promotional photo shoot. And it wasn't a substance abuse thing. It was rumored at the time that it was, but everyone has denied that it was. They said this is what happened. It seems like it was just years of built up, animosity between the two sides. Obviously, the Browns got a guy who looked like he could have been the best receiver in the league. And 5 years have gone by since then, and they're probably just fed up with it, and they probably just wanted to end this chapter and move on. Sometimes it's best for both sides to move on. I think this is one of those scenarios. And look, I don't think he's going to be doing any more promotional shoots. I think the Patriots are going to lock this man in his room, and I think it could be something special. He could really elevate that team. We'll see what happens. Number 4, LaShawn McCoy suffering from a rib injury. I'm just going to say this. I own McCoy in a league. I'm not banking on him to be what I drafted him to be. The Bills are really bad, and unlike David Johnson, he doesn't have the skill anymore to elevate the offense himself. Am I going to play him if he's healthy? Yeah, probably, depending on the scenario, unless I have somebody that comes up and is better. But I think for me, he's probably a flex play at best for the rest of the season, even if he's healthy. He's going to be keyed in on that offense, and we'll see what happens, man. It's tough times out there for Buffalo. Can you believe they made the playoffs last year?
It certainly doesn't look like it.
It's mind-blowing. They're so bad. It's crazy.
But then you have Josh Allen now as your starting quarterback, and I'm just going to be honest with you, man. I was never high on Josh Allen. I never thought he was going to be that great of a quarterback. I don't know. What do you think, man?
I'm going to give him the year, I think we'll see what happens. I think he's got big arm strength. I think I didn't like him as much as I liked Darnold or maybe even Lamar Jackson. I probably would have had him around the same level as Baker and Rosen. But I think the jury's still out. He's certainly got the tools, but can he put it all together? We'll have to see. And I think you can even say well, he's a rookie. They're going to lean on LaShawn McCoy. I don't think they should. I think they should just let him go out there and make mistakes because they have absolutely no expectations at this point. They're not. Sorry, Bills fans. They're not going back to the playoffs. Absolutely no way. Let the guy learn. Let him make mistakes. Let him try and make some big plays. Let him do everything that you want him to do in the future. Just try it now. And if he fails, he fails. Don't just encourage him to keep trying. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. And number 5, lastly, Carson Wentz is back. The almost league MVP last year and Super Bowl kind of champion Carson Wentz. Now, I've seen a lot of fantasy experts are kind of down on him. They don't think that he's going to do anything close to what he did last year. I kind of disagree, man. I think Carson Wentz is really good. I think that he might be better than Jared Goff. He probably is if he can get back to form. And I think that he is going to be a spark that offense desperately needs. Now, I'm not saying that he is going to be the kind of top guy that he was for most of last year in terms of fantasy quarterbacks, but he's easily a QB1 for me, and if you have him, lock him in, especially with Jay Ajayi missing the game. They've been taking their time with Wentz, which means they know that he's 100% ready to go, and they're going to let him rip. I mean, what are your expectations for Wentz this year?
As far as Carson Wentz goes, I do like Wentz a lot. To be honest, of the two between Goff and Wentz, I've mentioned it before, I'll say it again. I do think Wentz is the better quarterback, prior to the injury, but it just depends. If this is the same guy, Wentz is, you shouldn't be down on Wentz at all. This is a guy that would have easily won the Super Bowl for the Eagles had he been, healthy. Unfortunately for him, his Super Bowl glory got kind of taken away from him due to the injury. But here's the thing. We don't know what we're going to get with Wentz, after this injury. So I'm still high on the guy until I see that Wentz can't be that same player that he was. I would go with Wentz over Foles any day. I just think it makes perfect sense to me. And it might take, a week or two before he shakes the rust off. But I think ultimately this is going to be the guy to start and the guy to look forward to, from the rest of the year on.
And that's no disrespect to Jared Goff, too. I think we're all happy about it, even if Wentz is a little better. I like Goff. I'm glad he's our quarterback. And I'm sure the Eagles are glad Wentz is their quarterback. I will say this, though. I don't know if he would have won that Super Bowl. I think they would have gotten there pretty easily, but Nick Foles just has, we watched him for a year. There's just something in that guy where, randomly, he will make some of the single best throws you will ever see from a quarterback that other quarterbacks, great quarterbacks, might not even be able to make. And unfortunately, it only happens, once a year. And luckily for the Eagles, it happened in the Super Bowl. For us, it happened in his first start against the Seahawks where he had that insane game. But I don't know, man. Nick Foles, 10% of the times, he's going to go out there and play like a Hall of Famer. And Wentz could be on track to being a Hall of Famer for all we know. But I don't know.